Hello and welcome back. I am Missy Heydrich, and so happy to be joined by the contingent from the University of Houston. 15 and 16 overall a year ago, 10 and 5 in conference play in the American. Coach Ron Hughey here. He is in his 10th year at Houston and overall as a head coach. With him, 3 student athletes. I've got senior guard Layla Blair, senior forward Cameron Jones, and grad student guard Brittany Onjije. How'd I do? It's pretty close.
It was close.
It was close. I told you.
I've heard worse, though.
I told you.
I'm going to give you props.
It was going to be a stretch. It was going to be a stretch. Welcome to Kansas City, to all of you, to Big 12 women's basketball tip-off. Coach, I will start with you. Your team a year ago, you put together a string of wins when you needed it at the end of the season. You get yourself to the championship of your conference tournament. As you turn the corner now to the Big 12, how is that a momentum piece? And does that give you a roadmap, so to speak, of what this next year is going to look like for you?
I wish it did, but each year is different. Each year is different. Each player is different. Each league is different. You know, that's what we did in American. So, again, we're coming up to a Power 5. We're coming up with new aspirations, but you have to bring new work ethic. You have to bring new talent, and you have to bring a greater mindset. And I think that's the plan that we have. We trust, protect, and empower each other. That's our culture. We're going to be the best conditioned team in the country. On top of that, we're going to have one of the toughest mindset. You know, the thing that we've adopted this year is we eat what we kill. I'm a Savage Hill guy on YouTube TV. I love watching and the hyenas and the lions and all of that. And I think that's a great scenario for us, just because we're out to prove a lot of people that we belong.
Well, it's also the mindset of a cougar, right? So, I mean, you kind of got to go after it.
Exactly.
There we go.
Exactly.
As you looked at what you needed to kind of build a roster to be not only now in the Big 12, you think, but everyone's got to think now. You got to say, this is what we're going to have to compete. What were the pieces that you addressed, both with newcomers from the portal and or some freshman talent?
The first thing we did was take a long look at what we had coming back with these young ladies up here and talk about what they need to develop going into the next level. And they've all addressed that this summer and gotten better. But we also added a post player, Peyton McFarland, the transfer from Utah, another big guard, Malia Johnson, that transferred from Pitt, Nia Boy, who's a true point guard that was at Oklahoma State before going to UTEP. So those kind of pieces, we need to add point guard, we need to get more depth, and we need to get more pressing and size and athleticism, and we addressed all those things.
For those that don't know a lot about Houston women's basketball, haven't seen you guys play very much, what style of play that are we going to see from the Cougars when you're in Big 12? What's your calling card, so to speak, for this season?
Well, if you've seen Nolan Richardson's Arkansas team, see Vivian Stringer's 55, Shaka Smart's, double fist, that's who we are. We're 94 feet the entire game. We're running and jumping and pressing. It's organized chaos for us. If you come to practice, we're all over the place, and people are looking at us like, how can you function in this? And that's who we are. In the half court, we're up the line, on the line. We don't allow you to pass the ball to the left or the right. We're very aggressive. We want to force you into doing things that you didn't practice. So the things that you practiced and thought you were going to run in the game with us are not going to happen. Because of those things, last year we were number 2 in the country. We're turning people over 24 a game. We were number 1 in the country in three-point field goal percentage defense. Held people to 19%. We were number 1 in the country in mid-range. We held people to 22%. So, again, we just had to figure out the offensive end and, like you said earlier, addressing those needs that we have, and we know we got better on both ends of the ball. But that's who we are.
Making people very uncomfortable. All right. Well, for our media friends out here, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We will get you a microphone, and I've got some questions for our student athletes. Layla, you're coming off a great season as a junior, first-team all-conference in the American, 1,000-point score so far in your career there at Houston. What did you focus on in the off-season preparing you for this next year, and what is going to be a gauntlet in the Big 12?
A great question, actually. I've been repeating this all day. One thing that I honed in on is just a lot of going back to the basics and just making, just like a key gem that I heard over the summer when I went to a camp was simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So I just went to the basics, started working on just, form shots, making sure that I was efficient with every shot that I took, and just honing in on my ball handling and everything like that, but also keying in onto like the mental aspect of the game and just strengthening myself in that aspect and just getting in shape, honestly.
You got to get ready to go 94 feet.
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
for
time,
sure.
It sounds
For
like. So,
sure.
I mean,
For
everybody's got to
sure.
be in shape. And I always say, Steph Curry shoots left-handed layups when he starts his warm-ups. I mean, if we were that simple, that's the way to go. Cameron, you're blending a good number of new faces with veterans like yourself and your two teammates up here. You had 24 starts a year ago. How has that gone, kind of putting everybody together, both on the floor in practice, but also off the floor, in the locker room, and that culture around Houston women's basketball?
I would say, like, we have a role on the team, and we know how to follow it. And it's not a box. It's more like you can play how you play. That's on and off the court. Like, we ride for each other. That's the main thing. That's our culture: trust, empower, protect.
Absolutely. Now, what part of your game, when people see you on the floor this year, what should they expect from you on both ends?
They should be careful on the offensive side now. I'm just saying. I've been a defensive player, I would say, most of my life, and I just want to say, like, watch out on this offensive end. And, yeah.
Sounds like that's where your time has been spent then, yes?
Most definitely.
Okay. Excellent. Brittany, you started all 31 games last season yourself. We talked a lot about culture and about what it's like in this locker room, but then what's that carryover in practice been for you guys over the first few weeks here? We know everybody gets summer and spring workouts and individuals, but it really is when you get in the trenches to start to get ready for the season. So what has practice been like? How competitive has it been? And how do you feel like it's been going the last few weeks?
Honestly, I would want to say that practice has been great. We always talk about our culture, trust, empower, and protect, and toughness. Really, we've been preaching toughness, and every day we go into practice is being mentally tough, with being conditioned, and also mentally tough through adversity and practice and drills. So I just think, like, with the new people on our team and the returners coming back, it's going amazing. Like, all the new talent, and we're blending together. We're getting like a lot of what am I thinking of? We're getting a lot of reps. But I'm trying to think of basically we're blending together, and like we're working together. We're getting more history on the court and off the court, allowing us to play even well, like during like practice and getting ready for the games.
So good chemistry for all of you.
Chemistry. Thank
There we
you.
go.
I had a brain.
We'll find it. We'll find it eventually. Coach, as you know, you have been around long enough. You've played a lot of Big 12 teams in your non-con. But now you've got to structure a non-conference schedule to get you ready to play in the Big 12. So how did you approach that, and what are some of the keys for you early in this season going to be?
I actually called some of my former head coaches to find out the pathway to do that and got some great advice. And it was like, build confidence. Build confidence in your team. Let them gel together. You have 7 new kids. You have 7 or 8 returners, and build confidence through the non-conference, and so you can get yourself prepared for that. Because, like you said, it's a gauntlet when you get to the Big 12. I know at Iowa State, it's tough to win. At Texas and Baylor, it's tough to win. And, you know, these other places, everywhere, it's always the same. So each night, it's a game. It's not a huge game because, again, they're all the same. But, again, at the end of the day, we have to build confidence now to prepare us for getting to those other games that we can come out on the top end of them.
Absolutely. Well, I think we have a question over here, right to the front.
Hi, Coach. Cindy Brunson, NBC Sports Pac-12 Network. Going into this season and into this new conference, do you feel like your team has a chip on its shoulder? Something to prove?
Yes, ma'am, Cindy. Absolutely. It's the thing we talk about because, again, it's who I am. I've had a chip on my shoulder all my life. They're going to feed off of who I am every single day. So if I come in and don't have energy, they're not going to have energy. But again, at the same time, we have a chip on our shoulder just because in Houston, remember, we were the Southwest Conference and we won. And then they kicked us out and we went to Conference USA and we went to the American, and now we're back. So it's something to prove every single day, and it's about earning respect.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds as though you all are working together and a little bit of passion and energy and perseverance, and I think everyone's going to see that. So welcome to Kansas City. Welcome to the Big 12, and we look forward to watching you, the 3 of you play. And, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Next up will be the contingent from Baylor, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.